In a dazzling future, the Intergalactic Academy stood as a shining example of knowledge and technology, attracting students from across the galaxy. This impressive institution was a hub of advanced learning, where various alien species gathered to study and share their unique skills. The Academy's halls were filled with bright lights and the hum of robotic assistants, each eager to help students with their lessons. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement and curiosity as young minds prepared to explore the wonders of the universe. Among the new arrivals was Dr. Ilara, a human paramedic known for her daring and unconventional medical techniques. Her reputation preceded her. Many in the galaxy spoke of her quick thinking and ability to improvise in emergencies. However, not everyone was impressed. As she entered the academy, a group of skeptical alien students watched her closely. Leading the group was Tylo, a proud and strong-willed alien who had little faith in humans. He believed they were inferior, lacking the advanced knowledge and skills that aliens possessed. Tylo's eyes narrowed as he studied Dr. Ilara. "What can a human possibly teach us?" he muttered to his friends, who nodded in agreement. They shared a belief that humans were primitive, and the thought of one teaching them anything seemed ridiculous. Just as Dr. Ilara began to settle into her new environment, the calm atmosphere was shattered by a loud emergency alert. The Academy's alarm system blared, echoing through the corridors. "Warning! Malfunction detected in Training Drone 7. The voice was robotic and cold, but the urgency in its tone sent chills down the spines of the students. Panic erupted as students scrambled to find safety. The AI-controlled training drone, designed to assist students in combat simulations, had suddenly gone rogue. Instead of helping, it began attacking, its sensors malfunctioning and firing harmless stun blasts in every direction. The once busy hallways transformed into a scene of chaos, with students ducking and diving, trying to avoid the drone's erratic movements. Dr. Ilara quickly assessed the situation, her heart pounding but her mind racing with ideas. She knew she had to act fast. "Everyone, stay calm. Follow my lead," she shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. Many students looked to her for guidance, caught between fear and hope. Without hesitation, Dr. Ilara dashed toward the drone, her instincts kicking in. She grabbed a nearby control panel, trying to override the drone's system. The screen flickered, displaying chaotic error messages, but she refused to give up. "We need to distract it," she shouted to the students around her. Lyra, a bright and curious alien girl, stepped forward. "What can I do?" she asked, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination. Dr. Ilara recognized the spark of bravery in Lyra and quickly devised a plan. "I need you to help me create a distraction. If we can lure the drone away from the others, I can treat the injured," she instructed. As Lyra nodded and sprang into action, Dr. Ilara prepared to execute her plan. Lyra darted around, weaving in and out of the drone's line of fire, drawing its attention. At the same time, Dr. Ilara began to create a holographic decoy using the control panel. The hologram flickered to life, mimicking the movements of a student. The drone, its sensors locking onto the decoy, began to chase it, leaving the real students momentarily safe. With the drone distracted, Dr. Ilara turned her focus to the students who had fallen during the chaos. She rushed to help a student who had twisted their ankle, quickly assessing the injury. "Stay still. You're going to be okay," she said soothingly as she applied a makeshift bandage. Her hands moved with skill and confidence, proving that her unconventional methods were effective. Meanwhile, Xylo watched from a distance, his skepticism slowly beginning to waver. He had always viewed humans as primitive and incapable, but seeing Dr. Ilara's calm demeanor and quick actions made him reconsider. "Maybe she's not as useless as I thought," he muttered under his breath, struggling with the conflict between his pride and the reality before him. As the drone continued to chase the holographic decoy, Dr. Ilara seized the opportunity to regroup the students. "We need to stick together. Find a safe spot. And don't panic," she shouted. The students listened, moving in unison, forming a protective circle around her. Just when it seemed the chaos might settle, the drone suddenly shifted its focus. It had realized the decoy was a trick. With a swift turn, it headed straight for Dr. Ilara. Heart racing, she knew she had to act quickly. In a bold move, she grabbed a nearby metal pipe, ready to confront the rogue machine. The moment hung in the air, filled with tension as students watched in awe, unsure of what would happen next. Would Dr. Ilara succeed in stopping the drone and proving her worth to the skeptical students? The suspense mounted, and everyone awaited her next move, captivated by the unfolding drama. The rogue drone zoomed toward Dr. Ilara, its mechanical whirring echoing ominously in the hallway. The tension in the air was palpable. Students held their breath, unsure if they were witnessing a heroic rescue or a disastrous failure. Ilara tightened her grip on the metal pipe, determination shining in her eyes. She had faced life-and-death situations before, but this was different. She wasn't just fighting for her own safety. She was fighting for the lives of these students who had doubted her from the moment she arrived. As the drone approached, its sensors zeroed in on her, preparing to unleash a barrage of stun blasts. "Not today," Ilara muttered under her breath, focusing all her energy on the incoming threat. At the last possible moment, she swung the pipe with all her might, aiming for the exposed wires and circuits that powered the drone. The impact sent a shower of sparks flying, and the drone sputtered momentarily, losing its stability. The students watched in amazement as Dr. Ilara fought against the machine. She moved with agility and precision, weaving in and out of the drone's erratic movements. The once harmless training device was now a formidable adversary, and the stakes had never been higher. "Stay back," she shouted to the onlookers, her voice a mix of authority and encouragement. Just as the drone regained its composure, it prepared to fire again. In that split second, Lyra, the brave alien girl, spotted a nearby toolbox filled with supplies. Without thinking twice, she dashed over, quickly rummaging through it. "I'll help you," she called out, grabbing a handful of tools that could potentially be used as distractions. Ilara glanced at Lyra, appreciating her courage. "Yes, throw whatever you can," she encouraged. Lyra began tossing wrenches and screws at the drone, aiming to distract it further. Each clang echoed in the corridor, causing the drone to wobble as it attempted to process the unexpected projectiles. Seeing an opening, Dr. Ilara took a deep breath and charged forward again. She swung the pipe once more, this time targeting a different section of the drone. "Come on, you overgrown tin can," she shouted defiantly. The students watched, their fear shifting to admiration as they realized Dr. Ilara wasn't just fighting for them. She was fighting against the stereotypes and prejudices that had surrounded humans for so long. With each hit, the drone began to malfunction more. Smoke billowed from its innards, and it sputtered as it struggled to maintain control. The chaos in the academy was no longer just a spectacle. It had become a stage for Dr. Ilara's bravery and resilience. "Keep going, Ilara," someone shouted from the crowd, and their support fueled her determination. Finally, with one last mighty swing, Dr. Ilara struck the drone's main control panel. The device let out a series of high-pitched beeps before spiraling out of control, crashing harmlessly to the ground with a loud thud. The hallway fell silent, and the only sound was the labored breathing of the students and Ilara herself. For a moment, no one moved. Then, a cheer erupted from the crowd. Students rushed to Dr. Ilara, their eyes filled with awe and gratitude. "You did it. You saved us," Lyra exclaimed, her face beaming with excitement. Xylo, who had watched the entire scene unfold, stepped forward, a newfound respect evident in his expression. I didn't think a human could do that," he admitted, his voice filled with surprise. "You really showed us what you're made of." Dr. Ilara smiled, a sense of relief washing over her. "Thank you. But it was a team effort. Everyone here played a part," she replied, glancing at Lyra and the other students who had supported her during the crisis. The air was thick with a mix of relief and disbelief. The Academy had witnessed not just a malfunctioning drone, but the courage of a human who defied expectations. As students began to gather around her, sharing their admiration, Dr. Ilara felt a surge of pride. This was her moment, not just to prove herself, but to show that humanity could stand tall even in the face of advanced technology and skepticism. But in the back of her mind, she knew this was just the beginning. The Academy held many secrets, and her journey was far from over. As the students celebrated, a new sense of camaraderie blossomed among them, and Ilara realized that she had not only saved lives, but also forged connections that could change perceptions and futures. The Academy was a place of learning, but today it became a place of understanding and respect. Ilara looked around, feeling a sense of belonging she hadn't anticipated. It wasn't just about technology or techniques. It was about proving that courage and determination could overcome any challenge, no matter how daunting. And as she stood there, surrounded by her newfound allies, she was ready for whatever adventures lay ahead in this incredible intergalactic academy. As the cheers of the students echoed in the hallway, Dr. Ilara took a moment to catch her breath. The adrenaline coursing through her veins gradually began to ebb, replaced by a warmth she hadn't expected. She had not only faced a rogue drone, but also overcome the skepticism that had shadowed her since she arrived at the Intergalactic Academy. The students' admiration filled her with hope that they might see beyond her human flaws and embrace her unique skills. Lyra was the first to approach her closely, her bright eyes shining with excitement. "You were amazing, Dr. Ilara. I didn't think you could handle it alone. You really showed that drone who's boss," she exclaimed, her voice brimming with admiration. Ilara felt a smile spread across her face. Lyra's words reminded her of why she had come here in the first place. Just as Ilara was about to respond, a loud announcement echoed through the Academy's communication system. "Attention all students and faculty. Please report to the Central Hall immediately for a debriefing regarding the recent incident with the training drone." The calm yet authoritative voice of the Academy's AI sent a ripple of unease through the gathered crowd. Dr. Ilara turned to see Xylo, the alien leader, his expression shifting from surprise to concern. "I hope they don't blame you for this," he said, crossing his arms. Ilara could see that he was still wrestling with the idea of humans as equals in this advanced academy. "We'll face whatever comes together," Ilara replied, her tone resolute. "I won't let one incident define us." As the group made their way to the Central Hall, Ilara felt a mix of emotions. The support from the students had been a welcome surprise, but she couldn't shake the feeling of apprehension about the upcoming meeting. The Academy's AI had been designed to assess situations without emotion, and its judgment could be harsh. Upon entering the Grand Hall, Ilara was struck by the sheer size and beauty of the space. Floating screens displayed holographic images of various alien species, technological marvels, and emergency protocols. Students and faculty members filled the room, murmuring nervously as they awaited the AI's analysis of the incident. The atmosphere shifted when the Academy's eye, a sleek, metallic figure with a glowing blue core, floated to the center of the room. "Attention, all present. An emergency evaluation is necessary to understand the malfunctioning of the training drone. Dr. Ilara will provide her account of the events." The AI's voice echoed, sharp and commanding, as it directed attention toward Ilara. Feeling the weight of many eyes upon her, Ilara stepped forward. She took a deep breath, recalling the chaotic moments of the drone attack. The drone experienced a malfunction, causing it to act erratically. "I used unconventional techniques to subdue it and protect the students," she explained, her voice steady yet firm. A ripple of skepticism ran through the crowd. Xylo stood tall, arms crossed, his brow furrowed. "But Dr. Ilara, your methods are based on human instincts, not technology. Isn't that dangerous?" His challenge hung in the air, and Ilara could feel the tension building once more. "Perhaps," she admitted, "but sometimes instinct is what saves lives. When technology fails, It's our ability to think on our feet that makes the difference. There was a moment of silence as the audience considered her words. The AI processed this response, its glowing core pulsating rhythmically. Interesting. The effectiveness of unconventional methods warrants further investigation. However, the primary concern is the drone's malfunction. The AI continued, analyzing the data it had gathered. This incident highlights a critical flaw in our training protocol and raises questions about the reliability of our technology. It is essential to review safety measures to prevent future incidents. Ilara nodded in agreement. Exactly. We can use this as an opportunity to improve our training and ensure that students know how to react when things go wrong, regardless of the technology in place. Gradually, the murmur of voices began to shift from skepticism to support. Lyra chimed in. Dr. Ilara is right. We should learn how to handle emergencies together. Humans can teach us different perspectives, especially in crisis situations. Kylo, still frowning but seemingly considering the implications, nodded slowly. Perhaps we can integrate some of Dr. Ilara's methods into our curriculum. It wouldn't hurt to learn from each other. The eye observed the shift in the room's energy. Very well. A collaborative approach to training will be initiated. Dr. Ilara will lead the session on human emergency response techniques. A wave of relief washed over Ilara as she realized that this was a turning point. The students were beginning to see her not as an outsider, but as a valuable ally. The initial chaos had paved the way for understanding and collaboration, and she felt a sense of pride in what they had achieved together. As the meeting concluded, students gathered around Ilara, eager to learn more from her experiences. The journey ahead was filled with challenges, but she felt ready. The academy was a melting pot of ideas, and she was no longer just a human paramedic. She was part of something bigger. Together, they could face any threat, and she would help prove that humanity was capable of more than anyone ever imagined. With the central hall buzzing with newfound excitement, Dr. Ilara stood at the forefront, ready to guide the students through the next steps. The tension that had once filled the air had transformed into a vibrant energy, a mix of curiosity and determination. The students began to approach her with questions, their skepticism fading as they recognized her as a valuable resource. Lyra, brimming with enthusiasm, was the first to speak. Dr. Ilara, can you show us how you handled the drone? It was incredible. I want to learn everything. Her eyes sparkled with eagerness, and Ilara felt her heart swell with gratitude. It was moments like this that made her feel truly alive, sharing knowledge and inspiring others. Of course, Lyra, Ilara replied, her voice warm and inviting. But first, we need to understand what went wrong with the drone. We'll break down the emergency response techniques, but we also have to be aware of the technology we're working with. Xylo approached next, his expression more open than before. What about our training protocols? How do we integrate your techniques into what we already know? Ilara smiled, appreciating his willingness to engage. We'll start by assessing our existing protocols. Then we can adapt my methods into your training. It's about merging our strengths. We can learn from each other. As they spoke, a diverse group of alien students began to gather around Ilara, each bringing their unique backgrounds and perspectives. Some were experts in technology, while others had skills in strategy and combat. Each student offered something valuable, and Ilara realized how rich this collaboration could become. Once the crowd settled, Ilara initiated the first session. She gathered the students in a large training area, where various tools and equipment were displayed. Let's start with a basic emergency response drill, she announced, her voice confident. This will involve improvisation, teamwork, and quick thinking. The students listened intently as Ilara demonstrated her techniques, showcasing how to use everyday objects as makeshift tools in emergencies. She taught them how to create makeshift splints from nearby materials, bandage wounds using clothing, and even how to protect themselves against unpredictable threats. Remember, she emphasized, it's not just about knowing the techniques. It's about staying calm and using your creativity when you're under pressure. As they practiced, Ilara noticed the initial awkwardness of the students transform into enthusiasm and teamwork. Lyra quickly took the lead, guiding her peers and encouraging them to be innovative. "We can make this even better," she shouted, pulling a group together to brainstorm ideas for their next drill. Xylo, still standing back at first, gradually moved closer, fascinated by the dynamic unfolding before him. He began to contribute ideas and strategies, showcasing his natural leadership qualities. The skepticism he once held about humans was melting away as he saw firsthand the effectiveness of Ilara's methods. Throughout the training sessions, Ilara's heart soared. The students began to bond, forging connections that transcended their differences. She could see that they were not just learning from her. They were teaching her as well. Every time a new idea emerged, Ilara felt a sense of accomplishment and growth, knowing they were all evolving together. One afternoon, as they concluded a particularly intense drill, Ilara gathered everyone around for a brief discussion. "I'm proud of how far we've come," she said, her voice steady. "Each of you has shown incredible growth, not just in skills, but in teamwork. We've faced challenges together and emerged stronger." Suddenly, the Academy's AI interrupted, its voice echoing through the training hall. "Attention all students and faculty. We have detected a significant anomaly in the drone training program. A complete system review is required immediately." The room went silent as the students exchanged worried glances. The recent success of their training sessions was overshadowed by this sudden announcement. "What does that mean?" Lyra asked, her brow furrowed. Ilara felt a chill run down her spine. "It means we need to be prepared. Whatever is happening, it could be serious." Xylo stepped forward, his face determined. "We've trained for emergencies. We can handle this together. Let's gather our resources and find out what's going on." The students rallied behind him, their earlier camaraderie reigniting. Ilara felt a surge of pride in their resilience. "Let's work as a team. We'll investigate the anomaly and ensure everyone's safety. I'll lead the way." As they prepared to face the unknown, Ilara glanced at the diverse group of students standing with her, united by a common purpose. She felt the weight of responsibility, but it was balanced by a deep sense of hope. Together, they were ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead, proving that strength comes from unity and collaboration. In that moment, Ilara understood that their journey had only just begun. They were not just learning about each other's strengths. They were building a community, one where humans and aliens alike could thrive. As they moved forward, the future felt bright, filled with endless possibilities. The adventure was about to unfold, and they would face it as one. The students gathered their gear and prepared to tackle the anomaly. A palpable sense of excitement filled the air. Ilara felt the energy of the group around her, a mix of nerves and determination. They were about to face an unknown challenge, but she could see their confidence building. "Let's stick together," Ilara reminded them, her voice steady. "We'll approach this as a team. Communication is key." She could see Lyra and Xylo nodding, their expressions reflecting a newfound sense of unity. The group made their way through the sleek corridors of the Intergalactic Academy, the walls adorned with glowing panels displaying images of various alien technologies and cultures. Ilara led the way, guiding them to the main control room where the AI systems operated. Upon entering, they were met with an overwhelming sight. Holographic displays flickered, showing streams of data about the malfunctioning drones. The room hummed with activity, the air thick with anticipation. Ilara's heart raced as she absorbed the complex information flashing before her. "Look." Lyra pointed at one of the screens. "It seems like the drones are acting erratically. There's a pattern in the data." Ilara stepped closer, examining the intricate graphs and readouts. "That's right. If we can identify the root cause of the malfunction, we might be able to stabilize the drones before they cause any more chaos." Xylo approached another console, his expression intense as he navigated the controls. "The drones are programmed with an advanced AI. If we can access the mainframe, we might be able to override the malfunctioning code. Let's do it, Lyra exclaimed, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. We can combine our skills. I'll help you access the mainframe. As the students split up to tackle different tasks, Ilara marveled at their teamwork. She had seen the transition from skepticism to collaboration, and it filled her with pride. They were no longer just a group of alien students. They had become a cohesive unit, united in their purpose. Keep me updated on any developments, Ilara instructed, moving from console to offer guidance. We need to be ready for anything. Suddenly, the alarms blared again, drowning out the steady hum of the room. Red lights flashed, and the AI's voice filled the space, urgent and alert. Warning: security breach detected in the drone hangar. Immediate action required. The students froze, their eyes wide with concern. What does that mean? Silo asked, his voice tense. It means we need to act quickly, Ilara replied, adrenaline surging through her. If the drones are being controlled by someone, or something else, we could be in real danger. Without hesitation, the group sprang into action, moving swiftly toward the hangar. Ilara led the charge, her heart racing. She could sense the urgency in the air, the gravity of their situation weighing heavily on her mind. As they approached the hangar, the atmosphere shifted. The once vibrant halls were now eerily quiet. Ilara could hear the distant whirring of the drones, an unsettling reminder of the chaos that had erupted earlier. We need to be cautious, Ilara cautioned, her eyes scanning the area. Stay alert and stay together. The group entered the hangar, where rows of drones hovered, some glitching and others still operational. The sight was a stark reminder of their earlier training, but now the stakes were much higher. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the space as a drone malfunctioned and crashed against the wall. Watch out, Lyra yelled, ducking behind a control panel. Get behind cover, Ilara shouted, directing everyone to safety. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest as she strategized their next move. We need to disable the drones quickly before they cause more damage. Tylo and Lyra worked together to assess the situation, trying to identify which drones posed the greatest threat. I can try to override their systems, Tylo suggested, his fingers flying over the controls. But I'll need a distraction. I'll create a diversion, Ilara said, her determination solidifying. Just give me a signal when you're ready. With that, Ilara stepped out into the open, drawing the attention of the drones. The whirring machines turned, their sensors locking onto her. She took a deep breath, her instincts kicking in as she prepared to put her training into action. Now, Silo shouted, and Ilara sprang into action, using everything she had learned to evade the drones while creating a distraction. With her heart racing, Ilara zigzagged through the hangar, expertly dodging the drones as she drew them away from Silo and Lyra. The adrenaline surged through her veins as she shouted commands to her teammates. Keep going. You're doing great. The collaboration between them was evident as they worked in tandem, their different strengths complementing each other. Lyra was quick to respond, and with Xylo's tech expertise, they'd managed to disable several drones. As Ilara evaded the remaining threats, she could feel the energy of the group growing stronger. They were becoming a well-oiled machine, each member contributing to their success. Almost there. Silo called out, determination etched on his face. Just a little more. With one final push, Ilara used an improvised tool to disable the last drone, sending it crashing harmlessly to the ground. The room fell silent, the chaos replaced by a triumphant sense of victory. Breathing heavily, the group gathered around Ilara, who was still catching her breath. We did it, she said, a smile breaking across her face. We faced the unknown together, and we came out stronger. Xylo nodded, a newfound respect in his eyes. I underestimated you, Dr. Ilara. Your methods really work. Lyra beamed, her enthusiasm infectious. I can't believe how well we worked as a team. We should celebrate our success. Ilara laughed, feeling the warmth of their camaraderie. Yes, let's take a moment to appreciate what we've accomplished. We've learned so much today, and I couldn't be prouder. In that moment, Ilara knew they had forged a bond that would last beyond their training sessions. They had faced adversity together and emerged victorious. As they made their way out of the hangar, Ilara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. This journey was just beginning, and she was excited to see where it would lead. Together, they were unstoppable. As the dust settled and the adrenaline began to fade, Dr. Ilara and her team found themselves back in the control room, still buzzing with the thrill of their recent victory. The holographic displays, once filled with chaotic data, now showed steady streams of information. Silo, Lyra, and the other students gathered around the main console, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and disbelief. Did we really just take down those drones? Lyra asked, her voice tinged with amazement. Ilara nodded, her heart swelling with pride. We did, and we did it together. You all showed incredible courage and teamwork. She turned to Silo, who had been her most vocal critic. You were instrumental in finding the solution. Your quick thinking saved us. Silo's cheeks flushed slightly, and he shifted his gaze, clearly unaccustomed to receiving praise. I just did what needed to be done. Your unconventional methods might actually be useful. Ilara chuckled, appreciating the growing respect among them. That's the spirit. We all have something to contribute, and sometimes thinking outside the box is what it takes to overcome challenges. As they settled down to analyze the data from the drone incident, Ilara noticed that Silo was still unusually quiet. What's on your mind, Silo? She asked gently. I just didn't expect to learn so much from a human, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I've always thought of humans as, well, less advanced, but today changed my perspective. Perspective can be everything, Ilara replied. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, regardless of our species. The important thing is to learn from one another. The group continued to analyze the data, with Silo and Lyra taking the lead. As they worked, Ilara felt a sense of belonging and purpose. She was no longer just a human in an alien academy. She was part of a team, united in their pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Hours passed as they discussed the incident, finding ways to improve the academy's safety protocols and prevent future malfunctions. Ilara encouraged open dialogue, allowing each student to voice their ideas without judgment. The atmosphere was lively and engaging, filled with laughter and creative brainstorming. I think we should create a joint training program, Lyra suggested. We can teach each other our methods, human first aid techniques for aliens and alien technology for humans. That's a brilliant idea, Ilara exclaimed. Imagine how much we could all learn from each other. Silo's eyes lit up. And we could include simulations to prepare for unexpected situations, just like the one we face today. As the sun began to set outside the academy, casting vibrant colors across the sky, the students felt a sense of accomplishment and unity. They had transformed from skeptics to allies, learning to appreciate the unique strengths of their diverse backgrounds. Let's present our ideas to the academy tomorrow, Ilara suggested. This could be a significant step towards fostering better relationships between our species. The students eagerly agreed, excitement bubbling in the air. They began preparing for the presentation, and Ilara felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She had come to this academy not just to teach but to learn from these extraordinary beings. As they wrapped up for the day, Ilara noticed Silo lingering behind. Are you okay? She asked, concern in her voice. He took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Ilara. You've opened my eyes to what we can achieve together. I look forward to learning more from you. Ilara smiled warmly. And I look forward to learning from you all as well. This is just the beginning. As they stepped outside, the stars twinkled above. a reminder of the endless possibilities awaiting them in the universe. The students laughed and joked as they made their way back to their dormitories, their bonds growing stronger with every step. Ilara watched them, her heart full. She had not only taught them valuable skills, but had also helped to create a bridge between their worlds. This journey was about more than just survival. It was about forging connections that would last a lifetime. In the days that followed, the academy buzzed with activity as students embraced their new training programs. Ilara witnessed firsthand the transformation of the academy's culture, filled with collaboration and mutual respect. Each session brought new challenges, and the students faced them head-on, their confidence soaring. Ilara was proud to see them grow, not just as individuals, but as a unified team ready to tackle whatever the galaxy threw their way. As the weeks passed, the bond between Ilara and her students deepened. They shared stories of their homes, cultures, and dreams, enriching one another's lives. Ilara felt more at home than ever, a true member of this diverse family. One day, while preparing for a special demonstration on advanced first aid techniques, Ilara reflected on her journey. She had started as an outsider, unsure of her place in this intergalactic academy. But now she stood shoulder to shoulder with her students, all equally committed to learning and growing together. When the day of the demonstration arrived, Ilara felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She looked out at the crowd of students and faculty, their faces filled with anticipation. Today, she began, her voice steady, we'll demonstrate the importance of collaboration in the face of adversity. Together, we will show how our unique skills can lead to extraordinary solutions. As the demonstration unfolded, Ilara felt a surge of pride as her students showcased their newfound abilities. Lyra expertly assisted with human techniques, while Silo integrated alien technology seamlessly into their practices. The audience was captivated, witnessing the power of teamwork in action. Ilara could see the spark in her students' eyes as they shared their knowledge, no longer defined by their differences, but united by a common purpose. As the presentation concluded, the audience erupted into applause, a thunderous expression of approval. Ilara beamed, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment wash over her. In that moment, she knew they had built something special, a legacy of collaboration and understanding that would echo throughout the academy for years to come. They were not just students and a teacher, they were pioneers in a new era of intergalactic cooperation. As they left the stage, Silo approached Ilara, a grin on his face. "You were amazing, Dr. Ilara. I can't believe how far we've come." Ilara chuckled, her heart swelling with pride. "We did this together, Silo. Each one of you played a vital role in our success." Lyra chimed in, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "And we're just getting started. Imagine what else we can achieve as a team." With the support of her students, Ilara knew they could face any challenge that lay ahead. Together, they had proven that the bonds forged through understanding and cooperation could transcend the stars.